I am a wizard. Let me tell you why. What you're looking at right now is a screenshot of my game sale empowered Steam library of current games, and as you can see, I have a beautiful copy of the original Star Wars Battlefront 2 PC release from 2005. Not that 𝘍𝐿𝐼𝐻 Jr. shit the world been tripping on for like 5 days now. And you know, if your retinas aren't selling you, you'll probably also notice that I bought this game just only in December of last year, which was just 3 months ago now, and I just can't fathom that being a coincidence that after literal years of me putting off finally playing this classic, the moment that I decide to actually dive into this fast-paced FPS, not only would we be getting a remaster for the game, but even more special, the worst remaster of the whole year so far with this game. So that can only mean one thing. I'm a wizard. So since my sorcery has been proven in real time, it's only right that I celebrate by adding onto the stockpile of ongoing negative press for the 50 gigabytes of arguable malware known as Star Wars Battlefront Collection. This time, with things going on regarding something that I haven't seen much talked about in the past few days. Now, I gotta assure you guys that, I'm well versed in the gospel of what's been going on transpiring this latest game and, all the developers behind it. As per, I watched it all unfold at ground zero. Hashtag I was there. But to skip the cutscenes you don't want to see, in short, the game launched at a $35 price tag and in the worst state possible for let alone a remaster, but just as a game in general. Hella glitches, bugs, degeneracy, and worst of all, the title launched promising 64-slot servers for, thousands of players that were expected to be playing, but on release day, they literally only had 3 servers for players to use in total. Like, that release date of the game had to have violated some Geneva Convention laws. But that's all old news now, When you really take that magnifying glass and zoom in on the ugliness of Aspire's mess, you'll also find that their issues in game design doesn't only stem out to all of the title's multiplayer mode issues. In fact, the lore gets so deep that you'll be surprised to see that these dudes might have dipped their toes in the act of stealing. Another crime to add to the overall mess of the Battlefront collection. Now, how you could steal from a game that's only a remaster might not immediately make sense, but I still think most of you wouldn't even doubt it, because at this point with the title, literally anything is on the table. And it seems like Aspire put their sticky fingers on that table, because prior to the game's official release, veteran mod creator for the original Battlefront games, 𝘊𝐿𝐼𝐻, my bad if I'm butchering their name, originally voiced his concern on how Ahsoka's ventures in the game's trailer was holding her lightsaber and had animations like another character, Aayla Secura, something that 𝘊𝐼𝐻 had modded into the original games with his works. Go to character, by the way. And even at the game's launch, players had noticed that on some copies of the game, Ahsoka didn't have her OG animations, and instead the same modified animations that were similar to the mod creators. Just overall really suspicious. Now, as fishy as it all had seemed, it wasn't anything to completely sell that Aspire was pulling a Ctrl-C, Ctrl-V scheme, other than a minor accusation to say the least. But as time went on, it seemed that 𝘊𝐼𝐻 was on some Inspector Gadget timing, because he found that even more animations were in the game, oddly similar to his prior modded works, even going as far as to add screenshots of his work and their similarity to the remaster. And he found that this was all stuff that was available in the original launch version of the game, but after the first patch, all of his works weren't deleted from the game's files, but instead disabled so that nobody on the platform would have access to them anymore. And of course, not at any point during this whole, saga was any credit given to my dog. So as far as we can tell right now, Aspire was pretty much caught red-handed bringing modified works to the game that they either thought were so good that it was part of the game, which I wouldn't know how that mistake could even be made, or they thought that nobody would care about an aged mod and rolled the dice on trying to sneak that shit in and profit from it. Either of which is just honestly sad, man. 𝘊𝐼𝐻, as of this recording, hasn't put out any further statements or any actions that they're deciding to take going forward with this, and I'm not sure if any of his works are actually protected by copyright, so I don't know if this guy even can take legal action. But Luckily, the game's reputation is pretty much tarnished beyond a serious recovery, you know. People are either playing the original games on Steam like me, or withstanding a little more mental torture with EA's modern adaptation, and have pretty much forged into sacred knowledge that this game is pretty much no good. Which really does suck to see this classic game get this kind of treatment, and you know, I hate to overly hate on any game because even a simple-minded creature like myself can see the bright side of almost anything, but 𝘈𝑓𝑒 clearly brought all of these events on themselves with their own actions and possible theft, so you know, it is what it is. And obviously 𝘈𝑓𝑒 hasn't officially said anything regarding, you know, this whole stealing situation, so we'll just have to wait and see what the future holds for Battlefront Collection and everything else going forward. So what do you guys think about the Battlefront Collection and this accusation of them stealing assets, man? Feel free to comment down below. So if you like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you on the next one. Not only would we be getting a not only would we be